we are going to talk about Nimona. Now, this is it is an animated film on Netflix. And this film, one of the big things that has been spoken about this film is about the story of getting this film to the screen, because Nimona was a film that was being made by 20th Century Fox, and then Disney took over 20th Century Fox. And when Disney took over 20th Century Fox, there was like a cull. There was that. I mean, we were complaining earlier about Disney doing the whole thing where they've taken a whole bunch of things off Disney Plus because they can, because they are those corporate overlords. Disney are those corporate overlords. And when they took over 20th Century Fox, there were just a whole bunch of stuff. They said, nope, not doing that anymore. Cancel it. There were some films that were almost finished, and they went, no, we're going to cancel it. And Nimona was one of those films where they said, we're going to cancel it. Sharon, you can switch off because it's animated. So, just come back, switch back on in 5 minutes, go to your happy place. So, but Nimona is set in this world. It's set in this world where, imagine if you had ancient King Arthur's type England, but. So when you start off in that world, but then thousands of years later, this world has developed. So it still looks like ancient King Arthur style England. It still has, but imagine, that's exactly what it is. Imagine if you combined Camelot, King Arthur's Camelot, with Blade Runner. That that's what this world looks like now. So they drive around on these sort of motorcycles that look like horses. They still have knights who protect the realm. They still have like a king, a queen, and all that kind of stuff. It's set around a guy called Ballister. Ballister is the main character, and he is someone who has come from. Usually, you have the knights, and the knights come from the landed gentry and all that. And they say, oh, there's somebody called I can't remember what her name is, but this guy, he is a direct descendant of her. He's a direct descendant of her, and he's like, the best knight and everything like that. But you have Ballister, who's from the streets, and he's the first person who they've allowed in to train to be a knight of the realm, being from the streets. But at the beginning of the story, where they have this thing, this film has a quite a great sense of humor, and they have this thing called A Knight to Knight the Knights. Which is this big thing they do every year, where they knight all the knights, say, you have passed, and now you shall be a knight of the realm, and all that sort of stuff. Something goes wrong at the Knight to Knight the Knights, and Ballister becomes public enemy number one, and he becomes a fugitive, where everybody's looking for him and saying, we need to catch Ballister. Nimona happens to be this, because they have this whole world. The whole idea behind it is that they live in this gated community, and this gated community is supposed to protect them from the monsters. And they keep saying the monsters are out there. Don't leave the walls because the monsters are out there. You've got to stop from the monsters. And Nimona shows up, and she is what they would call a monster. She's a shapeshifter. And she decides, for reasons that you find out later, she decides, Ballister, he's a bad guy. I'm going to become his sidekick. and so she tracks this guy down and says, right, that's it, you're a bad guy. He's like, I'm not a bad guy. It's a misunderstanding. And he's like, nope, I'm going to be a sidekick. And it's all about what carries it's this anarchic, crazy, great kind of thing with Nimona voiced by Chloe Grace Moretz. And Nimona is a brilliant character, because almost everything she says is like hilarious. It goes off in one direction or another. It's obviously a film that's supposed to be made about otherness, and it's supposed to be made about people who are put outside of how a society can come together and decide that this person is outside, this person is not desirable, and through no fault of that person. They just say like, this person is non-desirable, and it can be taken as an allegory for race, an allegory for sexuality, an allegory for gender. It could be taken as a whole bunch of those different things, and you can see why Disney canceled it, because they canceled it, and then eventually Annapurna, a TV, managed to get it off Disney's hands, resurrect it, and put it onto Netflix. I'm quite happy that they did, because I think this is very, very good. But it is also, it's almost like an anti-fairy tale. It's like you have all the things that happen in a fairy tale, and Nimona sort of resolutely refuses to do any of those things. So I think it's really, really good. I would recommend watching it, even if you hate animation. Sharon, come back to us. Even if you hate it, I would recommend watching Nimona on Netflix. I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars. It's something the whole family can watch together. My 2.5-year-old daughter has been watching it on loop. Pretty much, it's been between that and Encanto, and she's sort of like watching, going, Nimona, we want to watch Nimona, and all that. So yeah, I think it has some good messages. It has some good things to think about. Some of it I think is a bit simplistic. Like there's a bit where they have a go at somebody for asking small-minded questions, and quite frankly, I didn't think those questions were small-minded. I thought that they were actually valid questions when you come across something you've never seen before. When you come across something that questions everything about what you thought the world was. I think some of those questions might be valid, but I think I'm in a minority on that. Oh, well, anyway. So yeah, Nimona, 4 stars for Nimona.